Hello guys and welcome to our Company of Heroes 2 Strategic Reserves discussion video. I've played this latest patch for some time now, and I'm gonna give my opinion on each of the new commanders, now a little bit in depth. So I will discuss how they are impacting the game, what is the best part, what is the worst part of that commander, and how can you use that in a battle, and who are the winners and losers of this new patch. We are going to speak about strategic reserves only in this video, and we will have a new video for other commanders. So while I am speaking and while we are discussing this commander, you can watch the gameplay in a background of me playing this commander, so that way you can enjoy. And I'm really loving this new way of making videos where this is really interesting for me so far. I haven't made the videos in a while, and mostly because I didn't have a lot of stuff to do in Company of Heroes 2, and I discussed that in my previous video where I gave my general opinion on new patch, but yeah, I'll not go into that now. So, strategic reserves. First thing which we need to tell regarding strategic reserves is that this commander goes in synergy with general change for Wehrmacht. So this commander alone, if it is to go alone without any changes which happen, and I speak mostly about MP40, it wouldn't provide that much of a difference. I mean, even the Tiger race. So when we are going to go through that in this video. So another important thing regarding the strategic reserves, besides that it goes in synergy with general changes, is that this commander is early game and late game specifics. Late game because of the Tiger race, obviously, but early game because it changes the way Wehrmacht can play early game. And I'll talk, as I said, about other commanders in different video, but I have to mention it now that most of other commanders are medium to late game focused, while Wehrmacht one is early game. So this new patch and new update gave the opportunity for Wehrmacht to be way more aggressive. So the buff of MP40 is really huge. So you will do more damage faster, and you'll be more accurate. Also, you will be smaller target, and that is for Assault Grenadiers, which you can get from 0 CP. So basically, Assault Grenadiers are really good. Also, what is important to mention is that while they are buffed, the biggest threat for Assault Grenadiers and early game for Germans is that vehicles, for example like Brits, their carrier guns have been nerfed, their armor have been nerfed, so it is easier for you to deal with, and especially if you manage to get behind them, carriers will go down fast, really fast. So you should not fear that much enemy vehicles if you play correctly. And during this video and our gameplay, you guys will see how this will impact the gameplay, and that you don't have to fear carriers that much as you usually would. So definitely Assault Grenadiers, a great unit for Wehrmacht. They definitely got a good buff, and they finally got an infantry which can form a good backbone besides just regular grenadiers. Don't get me wrong, regular grenadiers are good, but the biggest problem you had with regular grenadiers since the beginning, since the early stages and up to I mean nowadays, with Wehrmacht was that they had 4 men, they lacked, they would always be rushed, and it's tougher to deal with them. So nowadays allies cannot rush you like they usually would when you get a assault grenade. They would try to run away from you. So yeah, you are basically, you have to impact their style of gameplay when they encounter your assault grenadiers. They're really good. I wouldn't say that they are meat grinders because they are early game, and the other commanders for allies, they got a really good close quarters abilities, weapon racks and everything. So I wouldn't say that they are meat grinders. I would say that they are pretty damn solid backbone infantry, which Germans lacked for quite a while. And when I say Germans, I mean Wehrmacht. Volksgrenadiers can be included in this because they, for some time, they were either way OP or way too weak, and nowadays they are sort of okay. I wouldn't go to say that they are bad. They can be good when they are masked and upgraded with Sturmgewehrs, but alone, late game, they will not stand against allied infantry, the basic infantry which they get. So you have to get Obersoldaten to deal with them. But yeah. But let's move forward. We are not here to discuss the OKW. Another change here for Wehrmacht is that you got a new Panzer. So you are now getting Panzer J instead of Panzer H. Panzer J is Panzer IV from Oberkommando West. So that Panzer is way better against infantry, and it's way more accurate. It does way more damage. However, you will not have the side skirts of Panzer J, so armor will not be as high as it would be for Panzer IV for OKW. Then we have another change. The biggest one is Tiger Ace. Tiger Ace now is really a unit which it's kind of a balanced in a way of dealing with your resources. I really never understood why we got that penalty for getting Tiger Ace. I never understood that, and finally that is changed. So Tiger Ace will not make that penalties for your resources gain. However, the buffs of that Tiger Ace, his performances, will be a little bit lower. So it's kind of a balance. He is still stronger than normal Tiger. It's just that he is not God tier, you know, and you will not see negative penalties as much as you would. So there are other changes here for the reserves. We have breakthrough equipment for pioneers, which can remove some obstacles, and they can get settle charge, and Panzer Grenadiers get smoke nades. They have this share same cooldown like their bundle nade, so that means that they are. You'll need to combine them, so we'll speak about it, but basically that's it. And we have mobile reserve posts where for our 251 half-track is capable of camouflaging themselves and acting as an observation post to scout for hostile units. Yeah, well, not really the biggest impact of this commander, but just to mention, worthy to mention. So, now that we have discussed the goods, the pads, and general how this commander is shaping, let me now speak a little bit how is that impacting other factions mostly, and how should you use them? So best thing now to play against, let's go faction by faction. Okay, against USF, I feel that playing this commander against USF is the most difficult one. Why? Because their carabines, the riflemen, their weapon and their playstyle is most similar to the assault grenadiers, so you will face more difficulties against them than you would against Brit or Soviet early game. Late game it will be equally difficult, and we'll speak about it. So early game you will face more difficulties than against other allied factions. Mid game you will face even more difficulties. So in my opinion, against USF, best way to play this commander is to go with assault grenadiers combined with the MG. So MG is a must, even though that these are good now more quality troops which you have. They have 5-man, which is a good number for them, and you get better Panzer, which can more efficiently deal with enemy infantry. You still need to kind of watch for their blobs which they can get, especially against their motor carriage now, which, goddamn, that range accuracy shit, that needs to be nerfed. So against USF you'll have most difficult time early game. Mid game, if he upgrades his riflemen and they don't get wiped, your assault grenadiers will not be as effective as they would be. They will still be good, but by the time you reach them and you start doing damage with the MP40, which takes time to get his damage up, you will have some problems. Okay, now let's speak a little bit about the Brits. And Brits, in my opinion, early game, it's easiest to play against Brits with this commander, just because Brits, and I'm always saying this and I'm emphasizing this every single time, Brits are the Axis faction of Allies. So, in order to get the full potential of British infantry section, you want them stationary, if possible in heavy cover, and then starting their volley fire. In heavy cover they will beat every infantry one-on-one without any additional weapons if it's fair fight. In heavy cover they will beat anyone. So why is this commander really good against the Brits? Well, simply because Brits, when you close that gap early game against the Brits, and when you get close with your assault grenadiers, goddamn, they are dead. You will bring them down so fast, and they are 4-man. Early game, they are 4-man. You are 5-man. So this is the easiest thing to go against any faction is against Brits with your army early on. A late game, playing against them will be tough, obviously, especially with this new commander which Brits get. They are meat grinders. Infantry sections upgraded with Thompsons and Sten guns are meat grinders. They are right up there next to the to the Rangers. The only difference and reason why Rangers are still a little bit above, in my opinion, is because they have 5-man, so you'll deal more damage than sections would. So against British, easier to play, especially early game, because this is emphasizing aggressive playstyle. Now Soviets. Against Soviets, the only reason why it can be easier to play against Soviets is they will usually go for their penals. Why? Because of new commander, which will give them the PPSH upgrade. If, however, they go against conscripts, you'll have an easier time, just because their conscripts, they're not that strong, so you can go against them a little bit easier. However, if they go against penals, mid to late game will be tougher. Early game it will be a little bit easier. Why? Because it's a build-up. When you are playing with penals, especially trying to upgrade them with those PPS sages, it's a build-up. It's a build-up, so they will take some time to reach that full potential, which they are trying to get and trying to go that hammer tactic, you know. So from all of these factions, moving against the Soviets is the easiest. So I focused a lot during this talk on Assault Grenadiers and on early games and parts of late game. Why? Because biggest change for this commander is Assault Grenadier, getting that little bit buff and having them, and also that Tiger Ace for late game, which is a good addition, obviously. So that is the biggest change. It is really emphasizing the aggressive playstyle of Wehrmacht. So this is a perfect commander finally to get that the idea of Blitzkrieg, to get that fantasy of you punching through enemy line and pushing forward, running breaking line and running behind enemy lines all over the place and harassing them. This is the commander which Wehrmacht lacked. So this is the commander which is giving Wehrmacht a good chance to survive early game to mid game and then build up from there. So with this commander it is easier for you to survive the toughest part of any Wehrmacht game, which is early game to mid game. So this is a really good commander for Wehrmacht, as I'm emphasizing. But again, Wehrmacht is still lacking vehicles, light vehicles to deal with enemy vehicles. Even though that they got nerfed a little bit, they are still a big threat because you didn't have Panzerfaust for them. However, what is a good side of this? Since you're using Assault Grenadiers, you will not use rifle nades for your Grenadiers that will save you ammo, you will not get Faust to use against them, and now your Panzer Grenadiers are being built from your main HQ as soon as you battle escalate to the next level, so as soon as you reach level 1. So you can get Assault Grenadiers and upgrade them with Shreks if you need a mobile kind of a unit to deal with tanks to follow up with your Assault Grenadiers and your Pioneers and your MGs, or you can go for that lovely Pack 40 which you will most definitely need. So you need to work these Assault Grenadiers, you need to be aggressive with them early on, push hard, push strong, punch through the lines, follow up with your MGs, and try to get that anti-vehicle capability as fast as you can, because currently for them that is the biggest weakness they have. The biggest weakness of this commander is still that lack of light vehicles for Wehrmacht. However, they have utilities for it, so by the time they get a vehicle, you should be able and you should have some way to deal with it. So this, in my opinion, as I said, this patch gave Wehrmacht a possibility to survive the toughest part of this of game session of battle. So in my opinion, again, this commander is really good, and I am really enjoying this commander. I love it. And this MP40 buff is one of the best things which happen in this game. So you guys can enjoy in rest of the gameplay if you have, and see you soon. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed, and on our next video we will speak about British Lend-Lease assault tactics. So until then, thank you guys and see ya.
Casualties.
How can we help? We're moving to enemy territory.
Awaiting fire mission. Moving as instructed.
Einsatzbereit. Squad, advance! Bastards are shooting at us! Sector will be neutralized! Ready!
Pioneers ready for assignment.
Taking position in enemy territory! Feuer auf mein Kommando! I need a gun in the machine gun crew! Behind! It will be ours.
Machine gun squad.
You need indirect fire?
You found something? Hinterer Panzerwerk coming right up.
You need fire support? MG squad on the move.
Standing by.
You need something built? Or blown up?
Panzer Grenadier ready.
Stop here. We will relocate.
Ja?
Einsatzbereit.
Forces are engaging us!
This is all! Jetzt ist wichtig! Verstanden! Der Kinder! To the
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
HSG here.
We're dying here!
We have our reinforcements!
Kill the Russian dog!
Throw a bundle grenade. Double take. Shoot them. Stop. Action. Advance. Go. Go.
You need fire support?
Los.
Taking position in enemy territory!
Returning to base.
Advance.
On the move!
Advancing.
Move. Shit, they're shooting at us. Double time. Panzer Grenadiers have been promoted. Move out.
Grenadiers, it is time
We can't stay here.
Jawohl!
Forward.
Ready. And here we go.
Yes. Los. Fire. Grenade. On the assault.
Advancing into hostile territory! Moving to...
Enemy engaging. What do you need? Victory.
Los! Will be our territory. Secure that sector. Relocating to hostile territory. Seizing territory.
Ivan! And he shoots as bad as he
Anti-personnel
smells!
mines would do nicely here.
Get moving.
Moving to enemy sector! It's promoted by the back to base now!
Securing location. Moving. It's contact! It's in our hands now! The dogs are trying to shoot them! Go! Go!
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
Victory!
Move! Our position is under attack!
What? We're leaving!
We are taking over, Senate! We are leaving!
On our way!
Pioneers, stay here and be dead.
Let's just go! Go!
Ordered! Attack! City of promotion! How can we help?
Spotted us.
Move! We're leaving!
We will take it. You want to die?
On our way!
We will capture it or die.
Move out! They're taking fire from Red Army unit! Forward! We have casualties! Get your grenade bundle ready! Pulling igniter! Here we go! Rally back in base!
You want something?
We are ready for action.
Ready. Germany now holds the victory point.
The enemy is taking our territory.
Machine gun squad.
We must move or die.
We're going that way.
Our foes have 300 points remaining. Increased. We have a new Panzer IV. The enemy has broken our supply lines.
Let's move it. Move your feet, pioneer.
We are losing a sector.
Grenadiers. Get going.
Redeploying Panzer IV. Stop the shit show, quick.
Pioneer squad. Yeah, clearing mines.
Shoots in here! Standing by. Panzer Grenadiers moving out.
They're moving. Okay, fall back to base. Pioneers.
Panzer IV on the attack. Get this verdammt Panzer out of here. Enemy squad. Fire. Our opponents are seizing a sector. Driver, keep firing. Yeah, moving.
You found something?
Moving to enemy territory! Stop! We're losing ground!
One foot after the other. Keep
Moving Panzer IV to
Get out of here now!
Panzer IV. Ready?
Yes, I'll shoot.
Get this verdammt Panzer out of here. Moving. Panzer IV stop. Redeploying Panzer IV. Down down. Quick.
Yeah, one moving out. Quickly! They're firing on us! MG group moving to enemy territory.
Maximum crowd. Panzer IV has the target.
Sending them a reinforcement. Schützen, advance! Mortars!
Germany is that way.
We're taking.
On the move. They're moving.
Reinforcements coming!
What did they hear, Kleiner? Crew, we're moving. Well done. We have forced the enemy down to 200 points. Right. Enemy points out. Get this verdammt Panzer out of here. Panzer IV moving. Get this verdammt Panzer out of here. We must move. We will get there.
Moving. Fall back! Fall back!
Panzer IV. New anti-tank gun has arrived.
AT-Gun here. Verstanden. Enemy lines. Grenadiers on the move. Moving to enemy-controlled region.
Panzer IV.
MG element ready. Forward.
Grenadiers reporting. Halt! Taking position in enemy territory! Right away! There! Grenadier down! Follow me!
A squad of pioneers has arrived.
Moving to enemy sector! Advancing into hostile territory! Mach schnell! Taking position in enemy territory! They're under attack! Target eliminated! Shoot faster! Enemy sector outside! Moving to enemy territory! Fall back to the rally point! Denied for the fatherland! Moving!
Panzer IV ready.
It's done.
Moving Panzer IV to new location. Panzer IV, we will be retrofitted with an MG Kampfwagen moving.
Panzer Grenadiers moving out.
Let's move it.
Relocating. Next to the terminal zone. Yeah. Redeploying. MG-85 panzer forces have been reduced by 1.